Oh, can I get back, please? That would be so nice. Please? I hate this. It's some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard in my life. And here I am, having to fix it. How you still... Okay, there we go. Alright. That was dumb. And that made me upset. And that really bothers me. I hate that. I hate what just happened. This happens. I don't know if y'all just saw what happened, but the internet was just like, you know what? I hate you for like 30 seconds. And decided, yeah, you know what? No. You deserve to suffer. You're going to get steamrolled. And you're not going to be allowed to stream. That pisses me off. But besides that, we're back. Thank God. I don't understand. I don't understand that the fact of the matter is that the internet here sucks. And I need to get like a wired connection because this is ridiculous. Oh my God. Okay, regardless, I don't know where I left off. Here's my point. That was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen any football team do, is lose the way Atlanta did. With the offensive pieces that they have, the fact that you get shut out and you have Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Darnell Mooney and Michael Penix, and that is your offensive performance. Honestly, I would be... I've seen some Falcons pages talk about this. I wouldn't be shocked if Raheem Morris is fired at the end of the season and Zach Robinson goes with him. I wouldn't doubt it, because if that is what is going to continue to happen, you are letting down your quarterback, you are letting down your offensive pieces, you are letting down the entirety of the state of Georgia. That was disgusting. Everything about that was disgusting. It should feel disgusting, Raheem Morris. That's on you. What happened in Carolina, that's all on you. Unbelievable. Alright. I got it out. I was also just kind of a little upset that the stream crashed, but it's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Let's go. Steelers, Patriots. My favorite team versus one of the teams I hated the most. This game, I'm gonna tell you right now, that was not a... That was probably the... If maybe not for Jacksonville, maybe was one of the worst wins that I've ever seen. Yo, Jay is in the chat. Total Drama Island with Kelsey and Andy Reid. It really was, watching them beef the other night. They were getting mad, dude. They don't like each other. Chiefs, honestly, Jay, I don't buy into the Chiefs this year. I don't think anybody should. But not just not buy in. I mean, it's going to be Mahomes and like an absolute ragtag group of misfit toys. Travis Kelce got married, and he decided that he just doesn't want to even can't run right routes. You have Chris Collinsworth completely glazing Patrick Mahomes for preventing a turnover that he 100% just threw backwards. Like, in all fairness, the guy gets criticized if he doesn't go for that. Like, he would have been, like, roasted like Cam Newton, like he did in the Super Bowl, but... Dude, that was just not... You know who you should glaze? You know who you should have glazed? Tyquan Thornton. That catch was incredible. That, like, can we start hyping up things that look awesome? Like, things that are supposed to be awesome. Tyquan Thornton made an incredible catch. That's a hard... the last time I saw someone do something like that, I think was CeeDee Lamb against the Vikings. I think it was rookie year, so like 4 or 5 years ago. That's incredible. Glaze the fact that somehow the Patriots cut Tyquan Thornton. He's so much better on the Chiefs magically. Like, glaze that. That's funny to me. That's cool. And Jay, yeah, I know. I'm just not high on this year. I think they've clearly regressed. They gone. I don't know what to make of them even moving forward. I don't think they have a top 20 running back. So it's I think that's overall the case there. But back getting into grades. Pittsburgh, that was an ugly game. At best, it's a C. I could even argue it's a D. But the offense, you know what? This is what happened. The offense showed up for probably the first half-ish, maybe the first quarter-ish. And then it just went away up until the very end when they needed a touchdown. This defense, first of all, Still not good. They're still giving up way too many chunk plays, in my eyes. They're giving up, I think they might lead the league in like plays of 10 or 12 plus more yards given, because they happen a lot against both the Jets, the Seahawks, and then New England, and those are not my idea of high-octane offenses. They forced 5 turnovers. They need to force 2 of them at the goal line with an interception to Drake May and then forcing another Ramondre Stevenson fumble. It's like, like any team turns it over 5 times. Like we saw Cincinnati turn it over a lot. That team, the Vikings, won by 38. We see Pittsburgh force 5 turnovers. They have to stop a 4th down conversion on like the end of the game to win. That's not good. It's not good. That's not okay. You gotta fix that. Your defense has to be better for how much it's being paid. It's giving up way too many chunk plays overall, and the offense has to be better for how much you invested in that as well. It's just completely underwhelming right now. I'm happy they got the win, but my gosh, that was an underwhelming performance. And then Jay, on the other side, you have a wildcat options for Dart. You run it twice, then get Wilson and run again. That might be how bad Brian Dable is just running wildcats and making quarterbacks run. But that Giants performance was terrible. Malik Neighbors had his first game ever without 4 more catches. Like, that's such a big part of your offense, and the fact that you don't know as an offensive coach how to get the ball into your best player's hands. Collinsworth was saying it on the broadcast. Get him in, like, end-arounds or screens. Just get the ball in his hands. He is an active playmaker. He's not just a 50-50 guy. He can do other things. I just hope Dable's out of there, and I hope Dart gets to start soon. If he is not starting by week 5, like, I'll understand. Maybe you give Russell Wilson one more chance week 4. If Russell Wilson sucks again and it's week 5, dude, play Dart. Just play. Actually, before I even do that, let me see what the schedule is for the Giants. See where he might start. Let's see. Yeah, they'll okay, perfect. They'll play the Chargers. They'll lose. He gets to go to New Orleans and plays the Saints. No better time to start him. Absolutely no better time to start him. Because it does not get easier. Like Eagles, Broncos, Niners, maybe Bears. You're going to really wait till November to start Dart? No. Like, play him against New Orleans. Let him get comfortable against a bad team. It makes the most logical sense to do. It just does. Nothing else makes more sense. An S tier game for me, for heartbreaking reason that Steelers Pats games. I think by week 8. Week 8. Interesting. Because I feel like if it's but like, Jay, if it's week 8, I'm worried about who he's going to have to play. Right? Because, let me see. Let me pull up the Giants schedule. Okay, well, it's not going to show on the screen, so I'll just go here. But I mean, what I'm seeing is, right, like Chargers, they'll lose. Chargers should probably win that game just because the Chargers are 4-0 or 3-0 and actually look good. Yeah, exactly. Those games. That's the game you started because I feel like they play tough defenses regardless. They're gonna have to play Eagles twice. They have Packers on here. Detroit is not like a good defense, but you're gonna have to pass the ball a lot to stay up with them. Denver's tough, right? So if you get Vikings later in the year. So if you're gonna start them, it's gotta be the Saints. You gotta start them against the team that has comparably. I'm not gonna lie, right now, Dart will probably look better than Rattler in that game, which is good. You need that confidence for a young quarterback, especially because then you get a home game against Philly. They're probably gonna lose that, but you can at least like have some confidence going into the game rather than just being thrown to the wolves against Jalen Carter and all that entire defense. Like you get some snaps, you get at least a little bit of the speed than before. Schedule doesn't get any easier, and that late bye week doesn't help it. No, it does not. They have a week 14, I believe. I remembered because I think it's like a very late bye, unless I'm thinking of San Francisco. I know for a fact San Francisco is a late bye, but yeah, it's yeesh. Ugh. It's gonna be brutal for Dart regardless, but he does need to start. We can't. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yo, we gotta start Russell Wilson. No, we don't need to start Russell Wilson, and Jameis is to me a waste of time. I don't think starting Jameis makes much sense either. So in that case, that is what it is. What were we talking? All right, back to okay. So it was New England. New England, I need a grade for their performance, and to be honest, it can't be higher than like an F or a D. You turned it over for 5 times. Like really, honestly, no. You turned it over 5 times. No, you can't turn it over 5 times and expect to win the game, no matter how well you play defensively, right? You turned it over 5 times. You turned it over twice in basically in the end zone, in the opponent's end zone. That's not going to translate to a win. That's not going to translate to you being able to win football games. And you would think of anybody, Mike Vrabel would be like, like after the second turnover, he would have been like, "Hey guys, stop it." Or I'm gonna or what did he say? Didn't he say that if he wins the Super Bowl, he would chop he would chop his wiener off? Like that's what you should be saying. Like, guys, don't do this, or so help me, I'm gonna do it in front of you. I'm gonna slice it off. I'm gonna place it in your hand, and there we go. I'd give them a D for Drake. You know what? Fair. D for Drake May. And honestly, he didn't play like poorly. The end zone interception was really bad, but outside of that one throw, I feel like he didn't particularly play an awful game, right? I don't think he played like incredible, but definitely didn't play up to what you would want. But Pittsburgh, they got to stop allowing big chunk plays. They're not really a good defense until they stop allowing that. Who else we got to grade? Let's go to... Ooh, this one's fun. That's a solid F right there. How do you lose that game? How do you lose? First of all, again, everyone's saying this is a young offense. It's super high octane, moves super fast. You get your first touchdown, and what was it? I think it was the end of the third quarter. It took them forever to get going offensively. It's just like... How do you lose to Cleveland right there? I understand there were a lot of special team plays. This was another game where that happened. But this was a disgrace. An actual disgrace. Like, the play calling late, Jordan Love throwing the interception was awful. This was... Again, this is a Cleveland team that we expect to get 4 wins all year. And their defense, honestly... It has been good. Like, I know it gave up 41 to Baltimore, but they played well up until the point where, like, it was really clear they weren't going to win the game. But, man, that's gross. I mentioned this a few times with either Taff on the show or other episodes of Free Refill. Green Bay is missing another receiver. Like, Jaden Reed being out is absolutely crushing. It doesn't... It really hurts your offense because now you have one less pass catcher. You assume Tucker Kraft is going to be the guy every single week. Tight ends just don't work like that. Unless they're like a Gronk or a Kelsey. And even like a Brock Bowers is not having the best start to the year. I know because he's on 2 of my fantasy teams. Like, you need to have a little bit more... What am I looking for here? You need to have a clear wide receiver one. And they were hoping it's Matthew Golden. It's not him yet. He made 1 or 2 nice plays in this game. I know I saw one for sure, but they're still missing pieces offensively. And I think they'll probably be like their offense will probably bounce back against Dallas this coming week just because of how bad Dallas's defense is. But my gosh, that was a not good performance from the Green Bay Packers. And for Cleveland, you know what? Nah, that's too much. That's too much praise. I'll give them a C, because their defense really did dominate this Green Bay group. It's just their offense sucked. Their offense sucked until it absolutely needed to be good. But honestly, I thought Cleveland would have been joining the 0-3 and Green Bay would have been 3-0. But again, it's these games, right? It's these games that really separate like Super Bowl contenders from like really good playoff contenders. This is not a game you can lose. It's just not. And to lose to Cleveland the way that you did, up 10 points late in the game with like 3:47 to go against a atrocious offense, just not a good look for a team that's already was in Super Bowl conversations. We all need to take a chill pill. We need to see a lot more from them, and they need to really... This one will be hard to scrub out, for me at least. Like, just seeing that they lost this game. Let's see guys, do it so I can live my true life as Michelle. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Drake did play well enough to keep him in the game, but in terms of actually winning the game, Drake May just couldn't get it done. It's a darn shame. And the honeymoon phase with Parsons is over. I wouldn't say that yet. Like I said, they play Dallas next week. I think that's like, it'll be, oh my gosh, guys, they're gonna absolutely steamroll. Like I think the Packers have a very good chance to just absolutely, like, Mike Parsons might have 4 sacks with how, like, especially with no CeeDee Lamb in that game. Geez, Green Bay's gonna have their way with the Dallas Cowboys. They are named the Browns for a reason, and it isn't Paul Brown. That offense is take after gorging on Chinese food. Yeah, 100%. Also, those uniforms. Like, I thought they were gonna lose the game, and I'm like, man, they're really gonna lose in the neon poop uni. Like, that's what it is. It's neon brown. Like, it's like a sleek brown, but like, there's nothing you can add to brown color to make it more appealing, unless you're like appealing it to like nature. Like with like tree bark is kind of like a light, really light brown, right? But like you try to make brown darker, it's just gonna get worse. Like aesthetically as a color, it's just not gonna look good. It looks terrible, and it looked terrible. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing with the brown unis? I understand the Browns. It's bad. It's bad. I think Cleveland just needs a rebrand in general. They just need to figure it out. Just stop. They need to figure this out. If they don't figure this out, they're in trouble. Moving forward. Who else? Oh, let's do Commanders Raiders, because that one's an easy one. Commanders absolutely dominated their team. The Raiders absolutely looked like garbage. And you know what? Maybe I'll give them a D, because they did put up some points. But that offensive line is atrocious. Geno Smith was getting no protection. Brock Bowers decided to let me down in both of my fantasy leagues, as he's been doing to start the year. You know, every time I draft a tight end high, it never works. I was in a league where I was like, you know what? I'll be weird. Let me draft 2 tight ends in the first 6 rounds. It's Kittle and Bowers, and you know what happens? Yeah. What do you think? One's hurt, and the other one's not starting well. So, you know, shame on me. But I thought Washington to win with a backup quarterback. They did it last year too, but it was against like Carolina, and it was like kind of mid-season when we knew they suck. At least they're doing it kind of earlier in the year, where it's like Raiders might have something. I don't think they do, but the one thing I will say, the Raiders are a little bit more entertaining with players like Brock Bowers and Ashton Jinty, but they're not playing well yet, so it's weird. It's like, oh, they should be really fun, but they're just not. You know, but with the Commanders, Terry McLaurin sighting, finally, he made a huge, I think he had a huge play down there. Deebo Samuel as well. I'm actually a little impressed that Deebo's been as productive as he has been. For a guy that basically looks like he'd been eating nothing but Cheetos, Doritos, and Fritos all offseason. He's looked good. He's been good in the return game. He's been good as kind of this, I guess, the same role he basically was in San Francisco, just to a little bit of a lesser degree. It just doesn't feel... It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it would be, oh, Deebo's super duper washed. It's not quite that. Like, it's not... He's still got some juice. He's not going to be, like, Pro Bowl level Deebo Samuel, but he's going to provide some offense for them that I think they desperately need. As just a wide receiver too. They didn't really have that last year, and I think it kind of hurt them when, I think in matchups like against the Eagles. Deebo eating that prison meal plan in the offseason. Honestly, I feel like a prison meal plan would generally underfeed you unless they load that up with carbs, I guess. I don't know. I haven't been to prison, so I'll have to ask around, you know, hey, what's the food like, man? And Jay, honestly, feel bad for Geno. Dude balled out in Seattle, now stuck with a human bowl cut out in Vegas. Yeah, I mean, well, Pete went there too. I think Pete, you can blame Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll was like, I need someone that's not Gardner Minshew. Geno, you're coming to the black hole. That's why they always, I don't know when they started calling the Raiders like the black hole. If they just called them that because their uniforms was black, or if it was like because like it's just a place where your career goes to just end. And I feel like I have to do the lore on that, but it applies both ways because yeah, they wear black uniforms, and many careers just go to die there. So, you know, it's all chips and cakes, really, Marcus. It's all interesting. Honestly, I'll be real. No, I couldn't have just only chips and cake. I gotta have my meats. I'm a big like steak and chicken guy. I need to have my protein. I need my protein. But that still sounds really good. I bet you. Oh, I know why everybody sends the. I guess everyone sends the cakes because you gotta put a file in there or something. Gotta get. Or maybe they just eat it and they forget. 1994 was the Raiders' black hole. Okay, so it was 94. So were they bad then too, or because like I don't really remember. The only time I remember the Raiders being good, even this century, like really good, we're talking like 1 year in 2016 with Derek Carr, and then 1 Super Bowl appearance where they got blown out. And then before that, I think it was like Jim Plunkett. It was the only like real Raiders team. I guess there was also a Stabler, Kenny Stabler. But I mean, outside of that, most of Raiders history is dark. it's really dark, especially when you drafted probably the biggest bust in the history of the NFL, and Jamarcus Russell. It's a dark history. I was gonna say, speaking of Jamarcus Russell, let's talk about the Giants, but we kind of already did that. Well, hold on. New idea. Let's talk about the MVP of the league right now, Daniel Jones. I'll give them an A. You know what? But this feels like an A+. They're 3-0. They went on the road. They beat a bad team. That's the whole point. They whooped Tennessee from the jump. They got a pick 6 with Kenny Moore. Said, "See ya, bye." Jonathan Taylor looks revitalized. Daniel Jones get out of New York and grew up. He's him now. All of a sudden, Indiana Jones fever. I would have never thought it. Even if it ends this week. And like that's the thing. I don't want it to end this week. I would love it if this lasts like a Sam Darnold type arc. But this is amazing. This is amazing. And seeing it happen full time, like you're gonna be telling your kids about it. You're gonna be telling your kids like, "Hey, Daniel Jones are though." People say Daniel Jones sucks. No, you don't say that. Daniel Jones was good that one time, which means he's good forever. But it's impressive. It's impressive what he's done. I mean, I think people forgot how good that roster was. Like how many like decent players it has. Michael Pittman. They have Josh Downs. Alec Pierce is an underrated deep ball threat. Tyler Warren you add to that offense now. Quentin Nelson and I think Braden Smith are still very much good players on that offensive line. And then defensively, I mean, there's still Buckner. I know Kenny Moore got hurt in this game, so they're going to lose him for a few weeks. But I think a hip injury, which sucks. He's a very good corner, but it's a good team. And I mean, who do they? I think they could. Let me hold on. Let me do some math here and figure out where they're going. Welcome, campers, to find out who's on the Colts schedule. You're going to need to hop over some massive TNT bots. Oh, they play the Rams. Ooh, Rams is going to be tough. That's going to be tough to get to 4-0 against on the road. But if they beat the Rams, everyone starts taking them actually seriously. Like, oh my God, guys, they beat the Rams. And think about this. If they beat the Rams, it would be hard. It would not be easy. But if they beat the Rams, they get the Raiders and the Cardinals. Daniel Jones only really has to beat the Rams to start having serious conversations about, is he going to go 6-0? Is he going to go 6-0 to start the year for the Indianapolis Colts? Now I get it. The Rams are not an easy team to beat. Far from it. But, and also the other thing, like, they played very well against Denver, and they blew out 2 other bad teams. That's what you're supposed to do. It was impressive. You got to give Daniel Jones some of his flowers, and that's why the team gets an A+. I mean, they are wildly outperforming expectations coming in there. Raiders were good in the 70s, 80s, and so that was when it became the black hole and it was really bad. Yeah, man, that's where Michael Crabtree got his chain snatched. He lost his swag. Remember that when he ripped off his chain to keep Talib? Ripped off Michael Crabtree's chain. He stole all of his aura, man. Just gone. See ya later. Bye. They had Tyrone Wheatley. Dude, what a pull, Tyrone Wheatley. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Raiders have had such a weird collection of running backs. I mean, the one I always remember is Latavius Murray. But I mean, he was at least like somewhat decent. Still, man. Daniel Jones has become Stone Cold Steve Austin all of a sudden. All of a sudden, my Daniel Jones collection has become valuable again. Who would have thunk it? You know, we have one of our friends. We call him. It's not his actual name, but his name is Daniel Jones. So it's like, wow. You know, like we have a friend we're basically friends with Indiana Jones. We're friends with him, so best friends really. He's a big guy. Know a lot about him. What are you gonna do? Hold on, boys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta deal with some noise upstairs. My bad. I heard voices. Scary. The voices were calling to me. Ah! The fear. Anyway, moving on. Let's. This is a darn. You know what? I give the Niners a lot of credit. I give the Niners some credit for their win over the Cardinals. How about that? They get an A. Now, sadly, this will probably be the highlight of the 49ers season, in my opinion. This team cannot stay healthy remotely. I had found out earlier this afternoon, Nick Bosa has now torn his ACL for the second time in his career. That's brutal. I hope he comes back and is able to be healthy and be able to play again at a high level. Now it's Brock Purdy's hurt, George Kittle's hurt, Nick Bosa's out. Like, the fact that Christian McCaffrey is still healthy with how many injuries they've had, like, you would have to think he'd be one of them. Somehow he's not. They're able to win a game with Mac Jones. And it's just, it impresses me that this team is 3-0 as it is. I know they had a weak start to the schedule as it was, but there's a certain amount Mac Jones, man. Mac Jones is winning football games again. Never thought I'd see the day. Never thought I'd even utter the words. But I am saying that somehow the 49ers are able to, and also, let's say Arizona. Buddy, D tier. You may arguably F. That was not good. You had that game in the bag. Like, how do you get a safety at the end of the game, get the ball back, and then still not win the game? Like, it blew my mind. It blew my mind that Arizona found a way to lose this game. And you know what else blows my mind? Marvin Harrison Jr. I was like, okay, year 2, he'll prove it to everybody that, you know, he still deserved to be. Nope, not in the slightest. Had 2 huge drops. Had one that was wide open, had one he lays out for, just doesn't make. Like, I'm like, dang, man, Malik Neighbors literally made that catch last week. Maybe it's just Arizona. Like, I don't know. Maybe Arizona's just not destined to be good. But Arizona had a chance to be 3-0, and they completely tossed it. They threw it in the wall. They threw it away. They just poof, gone. Wasn't interested. Not us. No way, Jose. Oh my gosh, that doesn't even say I'm just realizing that I think I rushed to make this. I spelled a bunch of things wrong. It's supposed to say Vikings cornerback. What is wrong with me? Okay, we fixed it. But just, an embarrassment. Moving. All right, who else? Who else we got here? Oh, Jaguars Texans. Even looking at that game was bizarre. Houston. I gotta be real, man. This is not good. This is more of a D tier because their defense still played well, but that offensive line is disgusting. That offensive line is a complete mess. CJ Stroud looks uncomfortable. They are now 0-3 in a division where one team has 2 wins and the other team has 3 wins. Now you're back 3 games in the division. And your offensive line just actively is not going to get better. That's something that I find is very hard. One of the few things in the NFL, at least in my opinion, that is hard to actively improve as the year goes on is the offensive line. It's just, you either got a good one or you don't. And they don't. And they wasn't good last year. It wasn't good last year. And they traded away their best offensive lineman, Laramie Tunsil, to Washington. And now their offensive line is much worse. How that happens, how you allow that to happen, like, CJ Stroud's the construction worker. He's literally become the construction worker meme. Oh my gosh, everything's dying on me. I see no reason why he's not the construction worker meme at this point. That's who he is. He's been over like ever since rookie year. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Doesn't feel like it. It especially doesn't feel like it now. And the thing is about franchise quarterbacks and about great quarterbacks that play the position, and we'll get into it when we talk Broncos Chargers. The best quarterbacks, even when things aren't going well, they find a way to win the game. Not happening with Stroud. Even when things are not going well, just unable to finish it out. And even now, Houston is 100% the best team that is 0-3. In all 3 of their games, they've lost by 1 possession. But the way it is happening, it is very clear that this offense right now is just stunted. And it's not progressing from where it was before. Maybe they really do feel like maybe Joe Mixon was that important. Like, Joe Mixon is that essential to this offense because he's been out the first few weeks. But, my gosh, it's just disastrous. It's a little disastrous. It's really bad. I just can't unsee it. It just don't look good. And Jacksonville, honestly, didn't play much better. Like, they won, but they didn't really play much better. Trevor Lawrence still, it took, Brian Thomas made one big play late in the game that was able to, put them over the edge, give them the chance, and they go won the game. But it's, like, I think Trevor looks more comfortable in the offense. That, I think, is pretty obvious. But I also think, this team should be producing more offensively. Like, I still don't think they know where in the world they want to play Travis Hunter. I think the snap count usage is weird. It's just one of the weirdest situations right now. And for Brian Thomas, like, he needs to be more involved in the offense. Maybe that last play at the end of the game sparks him for the rest of the year, but they need that if Travis Hunter is not going to be a huge part of the offense moving forward. It just doesn't make sense to me. Let's switch it over. Denver didn't play that bad. Like, I thought their defense was constantly pressuring Justin Herbert. They had their chances, but they just didn't finish. Bo Nix did not finish the game. Like, it is so... And, I mean, credit to Justin Herbert. I'm going to give this team an A. They didn't play perfect. Justin Herbert is this close. He is this close to shaking the If Man title. Because you see it, right? Like, I always, sometimes I question, okay, is Herbert overhyped? Is he overhyped as a player? Is he actually good, right? What is the standard? What is the set notion for Herbert? And you saw it in that game against Denver. You saw him getting chased around, guys in his face, absolute flips his hips, laser beam throw to Keenan Allen in the back of the end zone. And I'm sitting there like, that's it. What you just watched. That's why people think he's great. And you don't even need to think that. You just saw it happen. And all he needs is to win in the postseason. Some quarterbacks aren't there yet. They haven't won Super Bowls. Herbert needs to get a playoff win this year. They need to, if they win that division and win a convincing home playoff game, I think and then you see Herbert now will have these opportunities. Like, we'll now get to see, like, Herbert. Like, I need to see Herbert match up with Lamar. I need to see Herbert match up with Josh. I need to see Herbert match up with another top quarterback in these playoffs, because if he is given that opportunity, I think he will have the opportunity to rip that if off of his chest and change it to a did. He's did, man. He did it. And all thanks to one human being, Madison Beer. Everybody, round of applause for Madison Beer, who has turned Justin Herbert into an actual superhero. Not like If Man, Win Man. I don't know. I don't got my creativity juices flowing for a nickname, but Madison Beer has turned this man into a potential legend, and I cannot wait for the remaining 14 games. CJ said CJ has been overhyped since he came into the league. I think it was good year one. I really do. I think the what he did coming into his first year, I thought was very impressive for a team that only gotten 4 wins, and then he's just not gotten better. I think he's either stayed the same or slightly regressed. And I'm worried because in the first 2 weeks, I thought that's what Jaden Daniels looked like. I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm just overreacting. But it was not good watching him play against Green Bay, and even against New York, it felt like they kind of stifled that offense a little bit at times. Yeah, but Herbert has shown these flashes of career. If he's consistent all year, then yeah, he broke out of the if title. That's what I need to see it, and I think with the addition, not the addition of Keenan Allen, not the addition of Najee Harris, who unfortunately tore his Achilles. I hope he gets rested and better soon. It's because of the addition, not even the addition of Jim Harbaugh. It's the addition of Madison Beer. Get a baddie around on your side, and you will feel 1,000 meters tall. And Justin Herbert right now is a giant. He's a Charger, but he's giant. He's feeling big. He's feeling big, and he's feeling happy. And that's all you can ask for, man. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. Oh shoot, we skipped over the Titans. D. No, you know what? No, I mean, yeah, I'll give them a D. They have a rookie quarterback. I'll be easy on the Tennessee Titans, but they don't look good. They still are lacking a lot of offensive pieces. I just, to a certain extent, I think the good news is I'm already seeing the Cam Ward, like, okay, this is why they drafted Cam Ward. He looks legit, but man, Tennessee does not have the offensive pieces. They play Houston next week. It's the battle of who goes 2-4. So that should be an interesting one. We'll see which team is more desperate. I'd assume Houston would win, but I wouldn't doubt it if Cam Ward somehow the Titans are able to just get enough pressure on CJ Stroud and just make it an awful night for him. All right, let's grade this final game, and then I want to talk a little bit Ravens and Lions before I head out. Cowboys. Hot take. That was embarrassing. Hot take, that was embarrassing. I think that is an F tier because I think a lot of people would have said, like, I think the spread was at like a half. Vegas didn't even really know what they wanted to do with this game because I think Dallas favored by only half a point. So Vegas didn't even have that much confidence in them regardless. But my gosh, like, again, you are the get right game. Right now, Dallas is the get right game for offenses. Whether it's Russell Wilson, like, it could be, like, especially that becomes true if the Bears struggle week 4. If the Bears offense doesn't look good in week 4, it's like, oh yeah, Dallas is just hey, we're the defense that you're just going to rip into. And they traded away Micah Parsons, their defense is so much worse, right? So you better hope those first round picks are good. You better hope those first round picks you got for Micah turn out to be absolute studs, because if they are not, you're gonna get, as Chris McClendon would say, it's time to go to the dock of shame, catch the boat of losers, and get the heck out of here. Because I am not going to be dealing with this. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to look at this Dallas Cowboys team. And now next week, you got to go play Green Bay. You got to play Green Bay without CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, you know what? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You're going to play with crash out George Pickens. Enjoy it while you can. Because I don't even know if you can enjoy it at a certain point. That was an F. Chicago, though? Chicago? Good job. Good job, Bears. You finally showed that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams can work. And it looked amazing. I'll give you the credit. It was a bad defense, but that's what you do to bad defenses. You bring out the belt. You bring out the belt. Pow! 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 That's what they did. And it worked. It worked very well. Luther Burden, Rome Odunze. That's what you're supposed to do to bad defenses. They took care of business. Dallas is just going to be bad. They're gonna get put on the dock of shame. They're gonna take the drop of shame. They're gonna get in the catapult and get hurled. They're gonna get shot out of a cannon. They're gonna get flushed down a toilet. All that stuff is gonna happen. I mean, look, it's a bad defense, and I think it shows just how integral Micah Parsons was. I think, and you know what? A very similar thing, I believe, happened when Khalil Mack got traded from the Raiders. Khalil Mack, they're not identical players, but they were very similar in terms of the fact that they played a lot in a lot of different sub packages. They would play either defensive end, they'd play in outside linebacker, they'd play inside linebacker. They would be moved around the defense a lot. And when those guys got traded for draft picks, it didn't work out for. It definitely didn't work out for the Raiders. So I highly doubt it's going to work for the Dallas Cowboys, especially when you trade them to a very successful organization like the Green Bay Packers, who've absolutely, frankly, whooped your booty. They've been consistently whooping the Dallas Cowboys' butts, in a lot of big like moments and a lot of big TV like nationally televised games and a couple big playoff moments as well. And you just sent them one of your probably. It's debatable if he's their best player. Like you can argue between him and CD, but you basically trade a franchise cornerstone to be like, yeah, and we want those picks, man. Not great for the Dallas Cowboys, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And right now, I believe it is in 3 to 7 minutes, because I don't know if it's 8:15 or 8:20. The Detroit Lions will take on the Baltimore Ravens. After this, I'm also gonna listen. I don't know if they're probably on their show, but I gotta call out Eric real quick. Eric, man, Eric going out. Eric, listen. I don't know, man. What if Detroit comes in and Amon-Ra St. Brown goes for $150 against Marlon Humphrey? I think here's what I think about this game. I think Baltimore should clearly be the favorite. I think Baltimore should have the advantage coming into this game, 1,000,000,000%. They're the better roster. I just think they're not the better roster. They're just more well constructed. I think they have better players at better positions. Like I think Kyle Hamilton's one of the best safeties. Lamar Jackson's easily a top 2-3 quarterback. Derrick Henry's top 2 running back. Right. The offensive line is I think a little better than Detroit's, especially with them losing Frank Ragnow. If Baltimore loses this game, because it could very easily be like exactly what happened Sunday night a couple weeks ago against the Bills. That they just think they're in the driver's seat and all of a sudden they're not. The one thing I would like to look at in this matchup for me, and I encourage you guys to keep your eye on it, I want to see the matchup and what they do to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because Amon-Ra was the offense last week. Like I think 119 yards and 3 touchdowns. That man was smoking the Bears, right? Who are they going to have on him? Is it going to be Nate Wiggins? Is it going to be Marlon Humphrey? If it's Jair Alexander, I'd be terrified because that man looks kind of washed. If the Baltimore Ravens are going to have a shot at winning this game, I think it starts with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think, honestly, it's tough to admit this. They may have to bracket him. They may have to say, Marlon, we don't trust you entirely to be able to cover Amon-Ra. We're going to use at least one of our safeties. It doesn't have to be Kyle Hamilton, but I think it needs to be somebody. I think they need to be doubling Amon-Ra consistently in this game. Because I think Wiggins is too young. I think Amon-Ra is too inexperienced of a route runner. I think he'd cook him. I think Jair Alexander's washed. I think your best option is Marlon. The problem is Marlon hasn't been great to start the year. He's been giving up too many chunk plays through the first couple of weeks. I think they're going to have to, if they stop Amon-Ra St. Brown, they win the game. If they don't do that, I think they're going to have a long night. I think Amon-Ra is going to be getting open, and that's going to allow for Detroit's run game to get going because they can easily get those quick completions to Amon-Ra, basically get 6-7 yards on first down, and then second down could literally be anything. It could be run, pass, play action, trick play, whatever. If you can stop Amon-Ra St. Brown in the early downs, I think you're going to have a lot more of a chance to win if you're Baltimore. That's just the way I see it. But if you don't, it ain't going to happen. It is what it is. We'll see what ends up happening, though. Game's going to kick off in 5 minutes. It is 8:15 right now. If you are going to watch the game, I encourage you, grab a snack, grab a light beer, maybe a glass of wine. You know what? Maybe a shot of vodka. I don't know. I don't know how you watch the game. I don't know. Maybe you just want the Dr. Pepper. Or maybe a Diet Dr. Kelp. Right? You know, a little SpongeBob reference there. Get your beverage. Get some snacks. Go watch the game, as I am about to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Free Refill episode 4. It was basically 2 parts because for some reason internet cut out. We love that. Don't have direct connection. I want to fix that, so hopefully I will. Regardless, I'm glad for you guys tuned in. I'm glad that you guys were here. I'm glad that you guys stuck around to watch. I'm glad that you guys are commenting. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. It's been Phil. I hope you guys are free refilled. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Click like, click subscribe, click the bell. You know the rules. You know how all this YouTube stuff works. And if you haven't already, you know the Instagram. You can go follow us on there. Listen, man, almost 500 followers on Instagram. So we're starting to build a little bit here. And if you look up Primetime with Tab and Phil over on, I guess, TikTok, there's only 5 followers on it really early, but it's basically the same stuff if you guys want to go check it out as there as well. And of course, we're right here on YouTube. So thank you guys for watching. Go enjoy Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to say... who's going to win? I don't know. I don't want to pick them, but I'm going to say Baltimore. I think Baltimore closes it out, gets the win, and knocks Detroit down to 1-2 at home. That is my prediction. And I will predict... You know what? Let's say Derrick Henry goes over 150 rushing yards. That's my hot, bold prediction. You want to put a bet on it? Do it right now. But, you know, just for fun. Thank you guys for watching. I am heading out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Going to see you guys on Wednesday. I'm going to do preview for Week 4. So be there for that. Be there for that on Week 4. Probably around the same start time, which is roughly 7:15. So be there for that. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.